Thank you.
Yeah.
And Mr. Chairman,
As
just
soon-
before I leave, can you still hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can.
Okay, well, it's time we went to Tiff's.
Hey, Dave, you can go ahead. You're live.
Okay, and what about, is Kieran with us? Yeah.
Yes, he is.
All right, great, thank you. So, folks, when I look at the, first of all, welcome. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy lives. It's greatly appreciated. John Mastrioni is with us again this time, which is very kind of him, 2 months in a row. I want you to know that if you make it to 3, John, we give you a special medallion of expert commitment. It's very special. At any rate, but we do appreciate all of that. So I'm gonna go directly to Kieran and give him an opportunity. You've all had a chance to see the sample site that he's been working so hard on for the last little while. I'll have some comments at the end of it, but please, we'll also be, once he's done his little presentation, to give you a show of where we're at. Please feel free to make whatever comments or questions you'd like to make at that time. And Kieran, over to you.
Yeah, so just in case we haven't met, I'm Kieran, and I've been designing the website for the past couple months. So I'm just going to do a brief update on what we've changed since last time. Essentially, in the past month, we've just been uploading all the content and getting everything ready. From what's left is we're hoping to be done by the November meeting, and we just need to do some bug testing, make sure everything abides by the AODA, which is like the accessibility standards for Ontario, and essentially just doing all the final touches. We're missing like just a small amount of content. So once we get that up, we just got to bug fix and, kind of go from there. So I thought I would just do kind of a demonstration of where the website is right now. I think most of you were sent a link to the actual like test website. There's still a lot of glitches, and we'll kind of go through a couple of them just so you can kind of, if you ran into a problem, you might see why and see that we're trying to fix it. But yeah, I can go right into that actually right now. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So what happens is this is like the immediate homepage, and we have all of the essentially sections of the website up here up front. The website's totally accessible using just keyboard buttons. So if you want to scroll through by using like only tab, it's right now on Zoom, so I can't actually do it. But if you do, just play around with tab, you can actually go through the website. Yeah, if you scroll through, we have the mayor's message on the front page, a message from the chair, and then again, all the sections listed out in perfect order, and they'll send you to the corresponding page. So if we want to go take a look at, say, Zweibrücken, Germany, it pulls up that page, and there's a bunch of history. Most of the sections have the same format where it's history, past years, testimonials, and future. And you can kind of, go exploring around that. And then global perspectives and youth ambassadors have different sections just based off of, a bunch of the content and like applications and stuff like that for those, respective programs. But yeah, as of right now, we're just kind of finishing up. It is accessible by mobile. It's not as good, and we're just working on that. So if you like minimize your window, what's it called? You can see that it's, say this is like the phone mode. You can access the entire nav bar by just going here, selecting on these things and playing around. We're still working out some of the glitches. Like if you go to the homepage, the grid's completely gone, or if you move your screen just to be big enough, it's kind of like in the center as opposed to like it's blocking the spirit catcher. So we're trying to work through a couple of those things. But other than that, most of the content is up. If you find anything wrong with the website as you're going through it, say you're just going through in your spare time, please email me and I can fix that. Other than that, if you have any questions, now's a good time to ask, or you can just send me an email privately, or Maury, and Maury can forward it to me, and we can make those changes.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Kieran. Does anyone have any questions at this point about anything specific from your field or about the overall look of it, or any comments or anything like that? Actually, I'm going to go to John first, since John, if at this late date you tell us the whole thing's going to crash and burn, I will be literally opening a vein.
No, just a quick question, Kieran. Have you been in touch with Cheryl Dillon with the city of Barrie yet regarding accessibility? So I know I talked to you about the fact that we'd probably want to review the site first. So if you haven't, what I was planning on doing is giving her the link and having her look at it, but I don't want to have her look at it until you have the final product, because I don't want to waste a lot of her time on it, but typically anything that's associated with the city of Barrie, and the URL will be associated with Barrie because it's going to have barrie.ca in it, which is how we currently access the site today when it goes live. We'll want to get it reviewed. And Cheryl Dillon is responsible for accessibility with the city of Barrie. I'll probably want her to review it and provide some input if there's any issues with the site that she sees, because there is that association, and because we are a municipality, we have obligations to follow certain standards, which there is no option. We have to.
And John, if I can help just for a minute, although you did actually question Kieran, he and I spoke on the weekend, and it was always our plan to bring it to you and Sharon prior to any type of completed project.
Yep.
And so, I mean, there's no secret to this, people. One of the things I was going to say at the end of it, I'll say it now, is that Kieran's being too nice. He's under pressure for me to be done by our November meeting. And that means, and that's the hard deadline. A soft deadline for all of you is, and for him, is that I kind of like this stuff wrapped up by like the 20th of October. So you can need to, whatever stuff is still missing, be it pictures or testimonials or whatever, I really need you to get that stuff to him so that he has a chance to meet his deadline, which I think is November 1st. Because remember, there's a bunch of stages we need to go through, including John and Sharon, and including a number of other edits outside, like actual textual edits, those types of things, in order to be comfortable for a soft launch for people that know us and love us, and then a hard launch in January of 2022. With all of the costs of this, checks written and done in 2021. Does that help, John? Does that help clarify the plan?
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as we have something that you feel is, as close to final as you can, let me know. I've already let my staff know that the site is coming, and that when it's ready, we're going to work on getting it on our servers and getting it set up.
Perfect.
Now, there is another question that I have, and it's regarding the URL. So currently, we have the Youth Ambassador site, the old Youth Ambassador sites. That site is accessible by hitting a browser and typing in youthambassadors.barrie.ca. Obviously, this site has more than the Youth Ambassadors. It's that plus a bunch of other little subsites. Is your expectation that they're still going to access it that way, and then they can go to the other parts of it when they get there, or what's your thoughts on that?
Kieran, do you have a thought, or is this my question?
I think this one's a you-oriented question. Like, we would have, if we kept I'm indifferent. If we keep the Youth Ambassadors one, it might have better results for like people searching up. You might find it easier. But what's it called? Putting in a new sort of URL or kind of display title, I wouldn't be opposed to that, just because there is a lot more content covered on this website than the previous one.
Can I ask a techie question, John, that I
Sure.
literally don't know the answer to?
Sure.
Is it not possible to have two URLs that go to the same place?
You can, once you get to the site.
Once they get to the homepage, they can do whatever the hell they want.
Usually that's how it works. Yeah. Now, Kieran did bring up a good point, and which is the point that I think I mentioned to you a while back, was that there's currently a lot of SEO, which is basically the ability for search engines to pick up information about the site. That information already exists out there, and as soon as you start messing around with changing the URL, you start messing around with your rankings and search results. So my advice is to keep the current URL, and if we want to try to add on to it, then we can look at that in the future. But I would need you guys to come up with what else you would want, how you'd want to get there. Like youthambassadors.barrie.ca is one way, but it would have to be something.barrie.ca, because if we're hosting it, we have to keep the same domain. If we have
Why
a
not?
different domain, yeah.
Why not international relations partnerships.barrie.ca?
Well, then it
The
gets
companion one.
yeah, then it gets to the point where it gets really long, right? So you got to come up with something that's not too long, that's easy to remember, that's easy to get to, because people are going to search for it. And if you come up with a smaller name, it's something that you could use in your media, or you can advertise it, and it's just easier to promote when you have a smaller URL. I don't know what that would be.
Okay, we'll work on it. We've got some time
Put
on
some
that.
thought into
Everybody,
it.
if anyone's got any great ideas about what we should call this to act, then just send me an email with it. Let's not, we could spend the next hour spitballing about this, but I appreciate the point, John, and we'll work on that. Thank you.
Okay, and
We
keep
could
in
call it-
mind that, yeah, sorry about that, Shannon.
We could call it Dave's Place.
And
Perfect.
keep in mind that it's not something we need to do now. Like, we can do it later. We'll get it up. We can put it up with the current youth ambassadors, and then down the road, if you feel that you want to get in there a different way, we can always add another URL. That's going to take a little more work on our end because we do need to get stuff configured to make that happen. But for now, getting the site up and just replacing the current one with the new one is easier for us. But like I said, if you guys come up with an idea, run it by me, send me an email, and I can give you some input on it.
Great. Thank you very much, John.
No problem.
There were other hands. Barry, I thought I saw yours.
Yeah, just briefly. Yeah, great job so far, Kieran. I really like it. My question was maybe for you and Dave. Are you looking for more pictures? I think most of the people in on this call have been to a lot of these places, probably have photos around. Do you want more? We don't want to flood you with photos, but are you looking for more, or what's the status of that?
Yeah, so we have a couple sections that could just have more photos in them, because like more photos, the better. If you do have more photos and you just, of good like landscapes and stuff, or, students doing some of the exchanges or any of the programs, please do send them my way, because I'd rather have too many photos than too little. I'd have enough to like just fill up the website, I'd say, but, more is always better, just because I can, play around with it and see which ones fit better, or, might be able to exchange some out. So if you do have photos, please do send them my way, or send them to Maury, and Maury can just forward them to me.
Karen,
Well,
could you?
Make sure we
could you-
include information on what's in the photo too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Karen, could you clarify for people so they don't make the same mistake I did, that when you say landscape, you're actually not referring to trees, bushes, and lakes?
Yeah. So when I say landscape photo, I just mean like a big photo that's essentially on a portrait like this. Like it's not straight
It's
up
not
like you would
portrait,
take it
it's
with your phone.
sideways.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Yeah, exactly.
horizontal rather than vertical.
Yeah. So
And by the way, before I sound way too impressive by that, I learned it from him about 3 months ago when I started sending him pictures that he didn't understand why I was sending pictures of trees. So, hey, you asked for landscape. I gave you landscape. All right, cool. Does that answer your question? And by the way, it's a great point, Barry. We are, in particular, I know that Rob Gardner has agreed to get us some from Muriama, but if there are others out there from the other ones, that's great as well. Kieran and I will shuffle through them, and he'll pick the ones that are best. I want you to imagine these pictures as being sort of a series of concentric circles. The actual pictures that are cool and interesting from within the sister city is first, followed by wherever the sister city has taken us, respecting the program that they ran, and then move out from there into the country itself. So I just think it's important that we respect the various cities we have relationships with that have worked hard to provide us these opportunities. And I think they'll appreciate it as well when we share it with them. Anything further from anyone?
Kenta had his hand up.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, just one comment earlier about the URL. I guess the site now has international partners. Is that a thought? And another one was more of a question under the. Well, sorry, forgot to mention this is a great website, Kieran. It's awesome. It's beautiful. Sorry, I forgot to mention
thank
that.
you.
I really like it. Foremost, and the question that I had was under the youth ambassadors, a button or the option. I see the interchanges / exchanges, and I wasn't really sure like what that really meant. I don't know if people would recognize that. I understood it as like just a bunch of pictures. I wondered if that was more appropriate to call that a gallery as well, same as in the global perspectives. But that was just a question / comment about this part.
Right. So the interchanges and exchanges is essentially just the exchanges that that youth ambassadors run. So that'd be the one to Muriama, but we couldn't just call it Muriama Exchange, just because there was the Taizhou ones way back when. And essentially all kind of, there's a weird mix. Dave can kind of touch on this more, but between global perspectives also being part of youth ambassadors, there's a couple things in there so we couldn't really call it just a Muriama Exchange. So we had to go with interchanges and exchanges. I think Dave can touch on that.
Yeah, let
more.
let me touch base. Although the global thing has its own entire site and isn't connected to that particular section. The reason we needed both of those words, quite honestly, is because although Murayama is an exchange and Taijo, when it existed, was an exchange, it looks as if our first efforts with Arras and quite possibly Harrogate are actually going to be interchanges. And it's really one way as opposed to two way. I mean, that's the difference between an interchange and an exchange. So Global has been doing an exchange with Zweibrücken for decades, but they also do an interchange with Cuba. All right. So it's just a one-way thing versus two-way. So I don't want to have to bring Kieran back to do additional work. We think Arras will be up and running with a French exchange or French interchange, student interchange in probably 2023, organized in 2022, and then running in 2023. I don't want to have to bring Kieran back to do all those additions, and I don't want to provide a whole bunch of work for John down the road if we can avoid it. So it's simply a labeling process at that point. And if you go into it and spend some time, there's a little more in it than just pictures. I mean, it describes when they went and where they went, that kind of thing. Anything else?
No, thanks for that clarification. I think that makes sense.
All right, good. Are there any other questions or comments?
No questions from Shannon here, but Kieran, holy cow, what a lot of work you've put into this. And I just wanted to say amazing effort, amazing work. It is going to take us really far ahead for our future. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I think Shannon's commenting on behalf of a bunch of us. I've heard from at least 7 or 8 of you saying the exact same thing about how special this is. So it's a great job thus far, but it's not a great job until it's a finished job. So let's not slack off. Anything else? All right, hearing none. Kieran, thank you very much. You and I, oh, sorry, Kenta, your hand was up.
Sir, one more thing. Kieran, is it, I understand that this is a testing website. So when I try to, I guess, copy paste the link, I just did try to do a control tab and then open the other ones. And I think it just gave me like a broken link error. I'm assuming that's like just like a testing error thing.
Yeah. So the way
Okay.
the test link works is it only goes to the home page. That's the only one like accessible from outside. So I know Maury ran into a problem with this earlier where he tried to hit a back button and it would just go to a broken link page. Essentially, it's because it's trying to go to a specific page on the website. But if you want to like send this to somebody else, just copy the home page link. So I think I set it to Barry International Partners or something, .netflify. I don't know, that first part, that's the only part that would work. Yeah, so
Gotcha.
That'll be fixed when we actually send it over to the city of Barrie.
Awesome. Thanks.
Okay, anything further? Kieran, on behalf of all of us, thank you very much for your hard work, and you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but I'm sure you'll prefer to bail. All right, so take care, buddy. We'll talk soon, like maybe tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I'll see you guys later then.
Thanks a lot, guy.
Sure.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, Tammy, take me back to an agenda.
Well, committee budget, I'm not sure if you had anything to update on that.
Well, I do have a couple comments that I want to make. Actually, I want to go back to the website for a moment. I need each of you in your areas, well, in any of it, all of it if you want, but I need you to be the first round of editing. I need you to go through and read what's there from your particular subcommittee and see that it's that there's some legitimacy to it, that it's reading well, that we're not spelling words wrong and stuff like that. I mean, it's just a first step. And if you can get those corrections to us, that would be great. I would really appreciate it from that level. And Lieutenant Colonel, I'd appreciate your input on the Arras section because it talks about the base Borden connection. And if you could take a quick peek at that, some of it I took from other sources like the Chris Simon article in Barrie Today and something, or actually Barrie.com. And then some of it I pulled from my own knowledge, but I wouldn't mind someone that's directly connected with the base having a quick look at it if you don't mind. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, so following that, moving on to the budget stuff, the only thing I want to say is perhaps I should wait until after you've done your sections, but let's remember that you are one meeting away from having the keys to the vault locked. So there are motions that we need to pass so that we can write checks to pay for things out of this year's budget, or we're going to lose it all. All right. So I think it's really important. I know that we've done some of that, but I don't know. There's a whole bunch of other plans that are kind of sitting out there in la la land. And I understand some of the original concepts cannot be done because of the endless continuation of this particular virus. But if there's anything outstanding, please get on top of that for us. And so, yeah, so is there anything on budget, anybody? Oh, and Barry, I've already told you last meeting, my hope is that we can submit, and Tammy, you might tell Wendy this the same in the clerk's office. My intention in support of this committee is that we go back to our original budgeting in anticipation that we actually start opening up the country. I know that's going to be important because there are several things that are supposed to happen in 2022. And if they don't, then the money will be there to be returned. But I'm talking about things such as the 25th anniversary of the Zweibrücken, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, just once again, just reiterating what I've said before on that. Anything else with regard to budget? Okay, next. Tammy?
Japan twinning.
No updates at this time.
Okay, next. I mean, it's pretty simple past this.
Youth ambassadors.
No updates here other than Dave. You mentioned something about Daniel and not working with Daniel, and I don't have any information on that. So if you, Mark, want to send an update on that, that'd be great.
I am going to communicate with Daniel on his messenger. They haven't made a decision yet on his replacement, so he'll let me know. But I will touch base with him.
I didn't even know he was gone. So
Well, that last meeting, I announced the fact that his contract had expired.
I missed that. Thank you. Okay.
Mark, since you're going to be talking to him, one of the things you might do, I know that Shannon had an interest in working with that school on some sort of international youth, the student pen pal thing.
Pen pal program. Okay, I will.
So without him, we don't have a contact. So she was asking me about that last night. So you might mention that to him in whatever communication you're having with him.
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. Thanks. Global, I'm assuming is next.
No, Harrogate.
Well, I'm sorry. Is Global not?
Oh, sorry. Yes, global. So my apologies.
Well, I'll be short and sweet. Still in a holding pattern. Nothing's going on, and the school board isn't accepting any applications for international transfer, and it wouldn't go through right now anyway.
Okay. Thank you. Next,
Harrogate.
Bill. Turn on your mic, Bill.
There we go. Just need to call my report back up now.
Sorry.
No problem. It's my fault. Just too many buttons and not enough clues, I guess.
I get it.
Yep. Anyway, we had a Zoom meeting with Michael Newby, who is our representative on the Harrogate International Partners Committee. On the 16th of September, there was Lou, Rick, Bunty, and myself, and we confirmed that the Harrogate Phoenix Rugby Club has not responded to any of the calls by Michael Newby or others. So we looked at other avenues for exchanges, and one of them could be a cricket exchange. There is a cricket league here in Barrie, and apparently we are the local champions, and that's being run through a student from Georgian College. I've asked a gentleman for his contacts, so we'll go back out and look at that. Other items that were looked at was soccer/English football, swimming, martial arts, or pétanque. And I had to look up pétanque, and it's like boules or lawn bowling. But anyways, anything that has a target ball. And then the ones that were excluded were rowing and curling, just because Harrogate did not have teams for these sports. Another suggestion for exchange was music groups. These may include the Tuat Youth Band coming to Barrie or King Edward Choir going overseas. It was suggested that we canvass the Barrie secondary schools to see what the status of their music programs is and would they be interested in participating in the Harrogate International Youth Festival in 2023. So that was one of the items there. And it was also suggested that the Harrogate International Programs organize a trip to Barrie in 2023 for the 10th anniversary of the signing of the twinning certificate that we did on June 7th at Ripley Castle. It was also noted during that particular conversation that Sir Thomas Ingleby is no longer active with the Harrogate International Partners. And the last one was the timing of the next exchange between Harrogate and Barrie. We did not feel confident enough to put something together for 2022 just because of the status of the COVID pandemic. And we think it would be more likely during 2023 and us hosting them for the 10th anniversary. And that's my report.
Thanks, Bill. Please tell me there's no sad story as to why Sir Thomas is no longer involved. Like he's neither
wanna
home
say-
or angry or anything like that.
No, pandemic has probably kicked the bottom out of the tourist business over there. And as a result, he's had to spend more time and effort, keeping his own castle afloat as opposed to assisting us at this time.
Good point. I'll send him a message of thanks from the past on behalf of all of us because I wasn't aware of that. So I'll do that tomorrow or something. Kenta, a
Okay.
question?
No, sorry, Bill. Were you looking to connect with the coach at Georgian College for rugby team? You said, or that was just that was the other way.
Cricket.
Oh, it was the cricket. Sorry,
Yes, cricket.
I must have misunderstood that. Sorry about that.
Oh, no. There's a student from Georgian College has organized a team. And that was the only connection with Georgian College as opposed to a Georgian College cricket team.
Okay, because
All right.
I can connect to the head coach of the rugby team, but I don't know if that would be helpful. Would it be something?
Well, there was just an article, I'm going to say 2 days ago
Mhm.
in the Barrie Today about the cricket team. And Jean-Maurice was, kind enough to send me the link. So I emailed the author of the article and I said, can you please put me in touch with this individual?
Mhm.
So I'm still awaiting, a response, hopefully from the individual, and then we can go from there.
Okay, I can try to find out about that as well.
Okay, thank you.
internally. Yeah. Okay.
All right. And if I may, one more thing, it
Sure.
doesn't really fit either with Harrogate or with the Sir Robert Barrie, but it was about the 13 banners that we have for the November program. And we've got a deadline coming up this weekend over Thanksgiving to get those pictures in to Sherry Harris. So that
What's
she
that?
can
What's that
produce-
deadline? Actually, let me cut in again. What's that deadline again, please?
It's Thanksgiving is what, she had told us.
Right.
So
So
it's a
let me.
soft deadline, but due soon.
So I need to clarify that for people here. We're looking for 3 or 4 high quality pictures from Murriama, Zweibrücken, and Arras, correct?
Yes, as well as Harrogate. Yeah. Mhm.
Right, but you've dealt with the Harrogate one, right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that we are looking for Rob and Jean-Maurice to deal with Zweibrücken, Mark and I to deal with Murriama, and Rob Garner's got some great pictures as well, and myself to deal with Arras. Am I correct?
Yes. Mhm. And of the banners
right,
that we
great.
put up for Remembrance Day itself, only
Yeah,
2 of
no,
them
I'm
were
got-
chosen. The ones that we put in the freebies for Remembrance Day,
Yeah.
we did one with William Howard Porritt, who is buried in Stonefall Cemetery in Harrogate, and the other one was Sir Robert Barrie for the War of 1812. So both of those will be flown with the Remembrance Day ones at the end of this month.
How many were we expecting?
Well, she offered 4. I sent in artwork for 4, including the bugler and whatnot, and she only chose the 2, Porritt and Barrie.
Is there an explanation as to why, or is it just the way it shook out?
I think the pictures just like she had a hard deadline of the Friday, and this was sort of Wednesday afternoon. So on Thursday, she just sent the 2 banners back to say, hi, here's what you're getting. And like I say, it was a gift horse, so I wasn't going to look it in the mouth.
All right, so presumably,
There's as much as it just happened to fit with the rest of the Remembrance Day posters.
okay. All right, I mean, you know what, you're right. It was a gift horse. It's fine. We got 2 of the 4. That's great. I appreciate your efforts on that. The rest of us, we need to send high quality pictures
Yes.
in. And I don't mind the idea, unless you correct me, Bill, of having people send, 4 or 5 and say, pick which ones you think are best.
I
Make
think
sense?
that's best. Yeah. Mhm.
And how many are we expecting from each city for this?
Well, I was going to go 3+1. If somebody's got a really good idea and they've got 4 great pictures, they get the 4th one. Otherwise, we'll go with 3 and sort of pick whatever other one, falls out.
Do you mean 3 per or 3 total?
No, 3 each to
Right.
balance it between the 4 cities.
Right.
And then the 4th one will go to whoever has the best extra picture.
Perfect. And there's a cost to this. Whatever we're doing, we're going to write the check for this in 2021, correct?
Exactly, not to exceed $1,800.
And that's already been passed?
Yes, it was.
Right.
Yeah, the
Thank you.
motion
All right.
passed last meeting.
Good. I just trying to keep track of making sure that we're spending this year's budget in this year. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. The next,
German,
pardon?
the German
All
twinning.
right. Rob, Jean-Maurice, whomever,
Assuming that you can hear me, yes?
I can.
Okay. The Zweibrücken committee has been deliberating with the counterparts in Zweibrücken, and it would appear that the opportunity for the visit next year to Zweibrücken is between the 4th and the 12th of May. And of course, the 7th of May being the 25th anniversary, which we would hope. I've left messages through Nina to the mayor to determine if he would be available to go to Zweibrücken, but to date I have not had an answer. I'll keep working on that and hopefully find a solution. We've settled on 6 delegates going and coming. The commemorative bench that we were working on and that was approved is being finalized with the inscriptions, and they're going to do a mock-up before any decisions are made. Other than that, we're hopeful that COVID-19 will not affect our visits, and perhaps only God will know if that's going to happen or not. So that's my report.
Okay, a couple questions, Rob. First of all, you mentioned the 4th to the 12th of 2022. We're going there. And then you mentioned their return. When is their planned return?
Bill, can you translate? I can't hear.
Bill, can you help?
Okay, he wanted to know when the return visit was, Rob.
In the fall.
Fall of 22?
We don't have exact dates, but it would be in the fall.
Fall of 22.
Okay. Out of curiosity's sake, why did it just seems for such a, let me rephrase. Why did you arrive at the number 6?
I can't hear him, Bill.
Why did we choose 6 people versus any other number versus any delegates?
It was thought to be a congenial type of visit, and anyone else wouldn't be on their own if others wanted to go.
Okay. All right. How are we getting to the number 6? Like, for instance, if the mayor and his partner decide to go, that's 2 of the 6?
Would the mayor be part of the 6?
No, the mayor and his partner be 2 of the 6.
Oh, the mayor and his partner.
Yes.
Yes, they would.
Okay. Is this coming from your committee or is this coming from Zweibrücken?
Is this from Barry or is this Zweibrücken's idea for the 6?
It's a combined decision between the 2 of us that we thought we could afford.
It's a combined decision between the 2 groups that they thought they could afford.
Okay, thank you. All right, thanks. I don't know whether you can hear me or not, but thanks to Rob and his committee for that information. Oh, and I do have one other question. Sorry, Bill, you're doing double duty here. Have we all, and maybe Tammy can answer this question. Have we already passed the necessary motions to pay A, for the cost of the bench, and B, for the installation of the bench?
Yes, we did. I
Both?
think it was up to $5,000.
For both, or,
Well, that I think is including installation.
so Bill, could you please ask Rob if the motion for up to 5,000, he's
I think it was
comfortable that will
5,000.
cover both?
Rob, did the motion for the bench for the $5,000 include installation?
Yes.
Yes, it did.
Okay, fine, good. All right, then thank him and we'll move on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rob.
Sorry, I can't be with you, but my computer just won't respond to me. Anyway, take care.
Take care, Rob. Thanks anyways, and you owe Bill a beer for doing double duty.
And Dave, you know that we're now in a condo on Allen Street. We have sold our house and we are happily centered in the 7th floor of 37 Allen Street.
All right, we'll track you down. Take care, bud. Okay, Tammy, next.
Anyway,
Arras, France.
Nothing new to report from last month.
Okay, and then Sir Robert Barry.
Hang on, I have something to report.
Oh, okay, cool.
Don't
Sorry,
know how
Kat.
valid this is. The teacher that was on board with the Arras France thing expressed to me she has some health concerns and is not able to participate. So I'm currently composing a email to 2 new young teachers at North that are teaching French. With your permission, Dave, inviting them to step up if they're interested.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
And you'll be there to guide them, so it's all good. Thanks, Kathy. I appreciate it.
No problem. Bye.
Bye-bye. Anything else, folks? Tammy?
Sir Robert Barry project.
Sir Robert Barry, we have received the Royal Canadian Naval Ensign that flew on His Majesty's Canadian ship Barry during World War II from Mrs. Norma Jean Greenslade. And this is the box that the Motorcycle Club brought up. The Canadian Army Veterans of London, Ontario, the Ortona Motorcycle Unit, rode up here. There were 10 of them, and they presented that to the Mayor of Barrie on, what was that, the 17th of September. So we met in the Rotunda, and very nice presentation. It unfortunately will not go directly above the model because there's currently a TV up there. However, as the mayor said, I'm not sure why that TV's in that spot, and I'm sure it can be changed. So we'll see what happens there. But the ensign itself is 2 feet by 4 feet, and it's in very good condition. So we're going to get that framed over at the McLaren Art Center, and then we will present that to the city at one of the city council meetings. This probably won't happen until next spring. And the reason for that is that the motorbikes don't ride in the winter. So they want to bring Mrs. Greenslade up here. And because it was her husband who came into possession of the ensign, and he was the one that stored it nicely in this little plastic box that I just showed you. And his wife was ready to toss it out. And she said, well, this might be of interest to somebody. Mentioned it to one of the gentlemen from the motorcycle club. And he said, oh, let me contact Barry. They got a hold of Tammy. Tammy got a hold of me. And as they say, the rest is history. Now, after the presentation was made to the mayor, we took them outside on the north side of City Hall and we fed the whole motorcycle club lunch. So it all worked out. There was Rob Warman, Randy Rice, myself, and my wife, Monica. And Monica deserves all the credit because she's the one that put the whole meal together for them. We just, took the glory and served it. So it worked out very, very well that day. They were very impressed with the hospitality that we're showing them.
Perfect. Thanks for everything, Bill. That's awesome. Great news.
All right.
Tammy?
That is it.
All right, good. So if there's any last minute bills that people want to get paid or for that money, please make sure that you attend the November meeting is your last kick at the can. And Tammy, given that you have a collection of all of those expenditure motions, if you could have for us by November, a tally of what we've spent of that 20,000
Sure.
or what
Yes.
we intend to spend, even if it's not spent yet, kind of thing, right?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, and I'll tell you in advance, folks, that one of the motions that will be coming in November will be the motion to pay Kieran the remainder of the money that's owed him based on the completion of the website. And given people's commentaries thus far, I can't imagine there'll be much debate about paying the man. So at least I would certainly hope not. All right, anything further? All right.
That's it.
Thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate your time. And I, like all of you, look forward to the day when we might actually gather together again. All right. However, God knows when that may ever be. All right. Okay, Barry, do something about that. All right. Work hard to get council to open up the world. Okay. Just bugging you. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. I'm going to go away as soon as I figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Bye.